How important are those, especially coming into
Yeah, I mean, whatever we're doing is working for sure. I mean, we've seen the results, so it's just continuing to do what we've been doing. And for me, just making sure that I stay within my zone and make sure that whatever I'm doing is hard, whether it's in the beginning of the game or end of the game. Not just giving up on the play or falling short, which would help us, kind of hit a slump or anything like that. So down the stretch, just being able to continue to stay strong and battle down there in the post. Well, I think a lot of it was one of the big things that we really looked at for this week of prep versus Wisconsin was like our history with them in the last 3 games, them coming into our place and beating us 3 times. So we really took this game personal when it came to being physical and making sure that we hit them first, because we really knew that there was, we're tired of them coming into our place and beating us, and we knew that they were a little soft in some areas and we could really hit them in those areas, and I think we did that.
Chris, and your dunks don't quite rattle the rafters like Cohen's do, but you had a couple big ones today. What does that feel like to lift your team with a dunk?
Yeah, I mean, it feels amazing, but also I think that's just part of the game, and it's just part of our play style. I think it makes us hard to guard in those areas. Maybe I'm not as great as being a back to the basket guy and making a move and scoring off that. But if I can still make an impact off rebounding and then setting good quality screens and rolling hard, then I can do that.
This is a kind of a backwards question, but do you think losing to Indiana may have been the best thing that happened to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. I think if you ask Coach, it might be differently.
I didn't ask him.
Yeah, because obviously like that game in USC still hurts us in the heart a little bit because we know we're 1 or 2 baskets or 1 or 2 stops away from already clinching the Big Ten. But from here on, we're just kind of focusing on what's ahead of us. But I think that game just kind of gave us a shot to the heart a little bit to really focus in on the next stretch, especially with the 4 ranked games that we had in a row.
Yeah, I was going to say, you played kind of a murderer's row here in the last 5, and you won all 5.
Yeah, I think not a lot of people believe that we would win all 5, and that kind of drives us. And Coach loves being the underdog, so that was it.
So how do you move this forward now with 2 left?
I mean, we just keep the confidence going in all of our guys. We just keep the flow of our team and the flow of practice, being able to continue to keep everybody healthy and make sure that our prep is the same and the prep is hard and we're not getting complacent in any areas that could hinder our championship level team that we have.
What do those car dunks do for you guys as a team?
I mean, it's awesome. I think they impact us a lot better when we're at home, for sure. But I think I looked away on the bench on one of them. And I looked up like last second. I was like, oh my gosh, like all right. Especially because I'm in the game when he did the reverse, and I was like, what? I like kind of double taked it a little bit when I was running back. I was like, what the? But it sparks us. It sparks us, and he's doing the same thing I'm doing. He's playing to his strengths, and that's how we can win.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's nice to have different guys kind of. I think I said earlier, the connection that I have.
Never really relaxing. He always is aggressive to score, so there's never relaxing. And just trying to be there and make it tough for him on his shots. He hit the first shot of the game. After that, I just tried to make as much of an adjustment as I could to just be there on every catch.
You've kind of been
definitely. I mean, I watched a lot of his film throughout this week and last night, just seeing what he does. And I mean, he's a really good shooter, but also he gets a lot of free throws. I feel like we did a good job keeping off the line too. He should average 7 free throws a game, so I feel like we did a better job with that.
Coach Israel's been saying for a few weeks now that you work too hard, and the game means too much to you for this not to come. Did you feel like this kind of day was coming for you?
Definitely. I mean, I just kept having faith in my game, kept putting in work, and I just knew that I was due to have a game where I hit a couple threes.
You found your shot, but he was more crediting your defense. Was that a bigger deal to you, too?
Yeah, I feel like the defense is more important to me, too. I feel like I try to hold my head on that end, being a good defender for this team, and I always want to guard the best player on the other team.
How significant playing the schedule you played here in the last 5, starting with the Illinois game, and you've won all 5 of them. What does that say about the makeup of your team?
I feel like we're just resilient. We handle adversity well. I feel like, in those games, it wasn't like we just blew the teams out. We all came down to the wire in those games for the most part. And, I feel like we just are finding ways to win.
So how do you carry this momentum forward now for the next 2, which are big where you are in the standings?
Keep doing the same thing. Just really play desperate. Play it like your life on the line.
You guys were up by 8 points with 5 minutes left or whatever that was. They kind of get some calls that probably frustrating for you guys to get back within one.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you kind of flip that switch and keep your team from hanging their head and being frustrated to close it out?
Just thinking that you can't really control those things that the refs call, so you got to play through it. And just, think winning is the most important thing. Try to make plays on the stretch. Jace made a lot of big plays on the stretch, a lot of assists that I feel like ultimately won us this game. So we just stayed together.
On the bench too, because offensive rebound, 0 points, 0 points.
Mentally, we knew that we had to guard without fouling. So once we started doing that, once we started guarding as a team, those last couple of minutes, I felt like it was easier for us to get stops and easier to get our transition going.
Were you kicking yourself for now finishing off that 4-point play?
Yeah, I don't know what happened on that free throw. It kind of just banked around the rim a couple times. I was like, especially because I feel like I shoot pretty good from the free throw line. It was kind of shocked just to see that 4-point play not go down.
Chase, these last 5 games have been against the elite of the Big Ten, and you've won them all in similar type games, making big plays in the second half. What does that say about the makeup of this team in your mind?
That we fight. Second half, I feel like that's when we become better. I feel like we're a better second half team than we are a first half team, but we got to translate that to the first half as well. But it definitely shows the fight that this team has. I mean, we've came back down from a lot. We came back down from 14 to 10, and then just those last couple of minutes, I feel like that's when we're at our best defensively.
Do you feel that in the huddles a little bit, like you guys are saying, all right, we're behind, but this is our game?
Oh, definitely. There's a different level of intensity those last 10 minutes of the game. I think everybody just starts yelling. It's all positive, of course. I mean, I think everybody starts yelling knowing that we can win every single game that we play.
We see what the Cohen car dunks does to the crowd. What's it do to the team?
It energizes us more. When you see something like that, it gets you going. It feels you want to get one yourself, honestly. That's what it makes you feel like. So just being in those moments, you kind of feed off that energy and kind of start playing better.
What's the mindset with this team, especially late in games, last 4 or 5 minutes, where it seems that you're just running guys out of the gym?
Defense. I feel like we're a really good defensive team, and I feel like those last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes, that's when we're dialed in the most defensively, because we know when it's close games like that, it's stops that's going to win the game. So we know we got to come in and get as many stops as we can and win the game.
You're making this game as a freshman look easy. It can't be this easy, is it?
I don't know. I wouldn't say easy, but I feel like when you play with a certain level of just patience and calm and not really worry about making the wrong plays, it starts becoming an easier game for you.
So you're comfortable, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I've kind of found my role on this team. These guys have been putting a lot of trust in me. The coaching staff's been putting a lot of trust in me, so I definitely feel more comfortable on that court.
James, what was it like for you? Especially in the first half, Chase goes to the bench in foul trouble early, and
100% right.
he makes 3 in the first half, 4, whatever it was.
Yeah, honestly, it was so much fun to not only watch but be a part of. It was just so much fun just to see him just shot after shot, because we've been seeing him in the gym getting those shots up, and we knew that this game was going to be his game in terms of his shooting coming back, because he's had some practices where he's just man, he can't freaking miss, give him the ball, and we've just been and when it happened today, we were just keep giving him the ball, man, because he found his rhythm, and we just when you find your rhythm as a teammate, you want your teammate just to keep going and going and going. So I'm really happy for him that he found his rhythm, because he puts in that work, and sometimes as a player you kind of get into a little bit of a funk a little bit, but it's how you get out of that funk that defines you as a player, and Jaden's a really tough player.
How do you sum up these 5 games? 5-game winning streak, 4 against ranked teams, and just the ability to weather that stretch with what you guys have in front of you and the opportunity?
It's been great, and honestly, that's all I'll say about that, because you know, we've done some good things. We've done some great things against good teams, but at the same time, it's in the past, and we shouldn't focus on the past because we have so much ahead of us, you know, to finish, and that's where all of our minds are. You know, we're going to enjoy this win today, but for the big picture, we're trying to focus on the next team, not the team we just played or the team before, like how good that was. We're just focusing on the next game, because we're coming down to, you know, the last couple games, and it's really important that we have the right headspace.
Tom, Izzo just called you an animal in the way you approach practice. Where does that instinct come from for you?
It honestly just it's part of my DNA. I feel like it's something that I've had ever since, you know, I picked up at basketball. It's just part of my DNA to, you know, give 100% and to, you know, be physical. And sometimes when that ball goes up, you give your body, you give anything to go get that rebound. You know, I mentioned that I find just as much joy and energy in getting a good rebound or offensive rebound than I do scoring points. You know, that's my role as a 4-man and a 5-man. So that's, you know, after I get 1, 2, it just keeps going, and that's my job, and I take a lot of pride in my job, and I love my job.
I was going to say the 16 rebounds today probably mean a lot more to you than the points.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the 16 rebounds is great, and me as a player, I always want to keep pushing the limit, pushing what my best is. I want to keep pushing because, you know, I still want to see, you know, how much I can do on the glass. But also, I know that today, you know, offensively, you know, it was a little rough, and that's something that I know and I have to take care of and work on. So, you know, going into tomorrow, whatever we do, I'm getting in the gym, working on my shot, working on my offensive groove, and just trying to work on the things I didn't do so well today.
What does it say that this team won all 5 of these last games and they were all awards?
It's great. Honestly, it really is. But I think it's really important for us to look ahead and not focus on what we accomplished. I know that, I mean, it's great to know that what we've accomplished, but we also want to look forward and just keep going because we're in a groove right now, and the season's not over. When everything is over, then we can look back and, you know, appreciate what we've accomplished. I'm not saying that we shouldn't appreciate it now, but I'm just in terms of, you know, finishing the season, going into tournaments. I just think it's best for everyone to, you know, just keep looking ahead.